or whatever. So Lou here with my buddy Robert. We're just catching up. We thought we'd press record here. We're catching up from Patricia Cota-Robles. The day after the completion, both of us have completed her 34th Annual Congress of Illumination, which this year she called the Planetary Reboot.
Yes, and it was beautiful. And thank you, Lou, that you pointed out to me that this was happening, because before that I didn't realize it or know it. And
my pleasure.
Kudos for you.
Well, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I didn't realize what it was going to be, but it consumed 6 days of my week, and I'm not an English native speaker, so I had to redigest some of the parts double.
Sure.
So I spent about 50% of all my time, which I was awake, on absorbing this, and it was so beautiful. It was if people didn't listen to it yet, I think it's a real good tip for anyone. If it's a rainy day, do it, because the whole combination of beautiful meditations, the information, which is really get into the heart, and as I told you that maybe not everybody knows, but I do light language, and my light language, if it pops up, it really pops up out of my heart center.
Sure.
But later on this week, I understood it was a little bit below the heart center. So it's the lower heart center.
Okay.
And that's exactly the part where Patricia, where the what's her name?
The other lady, I couldn't tell you offhand. Kay, someone?
No, our friend of the Patricia was talking about.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful that it really hit in that area. So it's activating that area as well. And,
yes, hit you right in the soft spot there. Yeah.
Yeah, and
sweet spot.
This morning I talked to a friend, and she's really one of the rare people of energy work as well.
Yeah.
Not as well, but she is.
Yeah.
And she talked about that this is called also the Aged Chakra.
Okay.
And and that's the
well, below the feet, do you mean?
Just below the heart chakra, between the solar plexus and the heart chakra.
Okay.
Chakra.
Okay.
And that's called the if I'm right, if I recall it right, it's called the manifesting chakra.
Okay.
And this is quite logical if you listen to what Patricia was telling. Is God consciousness getting into our systems as a natural thing? This is a thing we need to get our manifestations in the right way.
Sure.
So it was really interesting, and you gave me a beautiful week. I just
Thank
before
you.
when we were talking, I said it was almost like Christmas, like getting presents, and it was really interesting.
Well, as I said, brother, I absolutely feel the same, and I was saying to you after, for me here, it was from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then I mentioned from 8 to midnight, I was in my bedroom just trying to calm down and wind down and come down. And, if 4 hours lying in the bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything. And it is, there is a wonderful Vedic astrologer I listened to at the beginning of this year. With Regina Meredith is a very wonderful interviewer that I follow, and she had this chap on, and he said this is going to be a year of polarization, and he said that by the time we get to the end of it, we would be very, very glad and very happy. And I think we're all blessed to be seeing, like we're saying here, and feeling even more so, that wow, things are really shifting for us, because we're blessed to be receiving this light and help others learn how to receive this love and light, and things are definitely lifting all of a sudden.
It's amazing. It's so. I still am surprised and under the influence of gazing, how beautiful everything is interrelated. We were talking about it a little bit, but it is unbelievable, brilliant how everything is connected to each other, rolled out in the right following order. Everything is fitting, everything is fine. And what I told you is it's a big message of hope.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I was saying it's here we are in the 10th month of this new decade, this first year of this new decade. And now we can have, we've been preparing for, all our inner work and the healing that you and I have done together and with others and on our own and etc. And spirit has been, my joke is dragging us kicking and screaming to the place of our greatest happiness, is sort of kind of like that sometimes. I don't want to deal with this or face this or feel this. And we finally give in and do, and we go, oh, okay, I'm glad I shifted the energy around that. And now suddenly we're able to receive,
Mm.
all this love and light that, she has said over the last 6 days, especially last night, that this is permanent, that
Yeah.
these are permanent shifts that we've acted as surrogates for all of humanity and the earth, and things are going to be different now. And we're both feeling that.
Yeah, and for me, the utmost beautiful thing was that it's valid for everybody.
Yes, of
So
course.
you don't have to be awake. Nothing.
Right.
It will happen to you
Right.
anyway.
Right.
And
Right. It's easier to receive it though when you're interested in receiving it, rather than if you're got your head down and you don't think it's possible.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not aware for that energy. I'm glad, but
Hmm.
it feels like really hopeful, because sometimes I was
Yes.
wondering and worrying about
Oh yeah.
how everybody would awake
Yeah.
or not,
Yeah.
and what happens to them. And
Yeah.
now there's like a basic floor for everybody,
Yes. Good.
and that makes everybody equal again.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and the subconscious, we are more being directed from the heart. So even if you don't, if you shut off or shut down,
Yeah.
your heart has changed. So you will react differently. And
Yeah.
maybe it will be in small steps in the beginning, but if everybody makes those small steps, it's a real huge step for mankind.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, really beautiful. And what I told you, that the if you believe it or not, that the injections of light in the places of the earth where the most damage was done by fracking or
Yeah.
nuclear testing, that
Yes.
there was immense injections of light. That gave me also a hope, because I'm
Sure.
really connected to the earth and more
Right.
and more.
Right.
And also so there was so much joy, hope, bliss. It was really
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great. Uh, and now we have to pick it up again for ourselves, and which is, I think, getting easier now, or at least
Yeah.
more fun.
Yes, it is. I mean, you've mentioned your connections and what's been moving ahead for you with your work. I've had a couple great weeks actually with clients and sessions and uh, breakthroughs and healing and other people getting turned on to Patricia, who I wouldn't have expected. I'm like, oh, look at this. So all that's been lovely. And I have a friend who's helping me with a website. Just popped in a few weeks ago and said he'd like
Oh,
to help with this and all this. So yeah, things are. I'm starting to feel like I've got my feet under me again with my work and with my sense of what's possible for me to share with people. So yes, and like we're saying also, Robert, you and I have just connected over the last few months here, and it's been a wonderful connection. I look forward to the future and being friends and staying in contact and helping each other as we have done. And there are many of those connections that have been coming up over the last month or so, I'd say, and for me as well.
yeah, and I think, and I hope that everybody gets this, because it shouldn't be just for the couple of light workers that are there. It should be like for everybody.
Of
In my
course,
belief.
of course.
Also, I think that the difference until now was that we would reach out for each other.
Mm,
And a lot of people, that's one of the reasons why I started the recordings with you, was that I felt that the work you are doing should be on a bigger podium, so that more people who are hesitant to reach out. Yeah, but it's true. That's the reason why we started
thank
it.
you, thank you.
Uh,
I'm delighted. Thank you.
and I think that, and I still hope that whatever we are broadcasting, that people will pick it up, or even it's one person, and that they start getting out of their shelter, or how do you call it?
Well, getting out of our own way is my favorite phrase.
Yeah, and start reaching out, because it's much more fun, easier when you start talking to other persons, and maybe the first one is not the one who's going to help you, but definitely somebody is going to help you, because experiencing similar things, or having similar situations treated in that way. So yes, I think that this platform, and really great to hear that you are helping, getting help with your website.
Thank you.
And but if you don't mind, there's some light language coming up.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, it's so what I'm feeling that we talked a bit about the heart center, the lower part of the heart center.
Yeah.
And when that's resonating for me, then there's light language coming, saying, hello, we want to get through.
Great.
And it has something to do in general to reach out, because that started it.
Right.
And that has something to do with us as well.
Great.
Normally there are 3 types of light language for me, and one is the type, which is this one, is that I don't have a clue.
Okay.
But mostly that's on soul level, or just broad conscious level.
Great.
The second one is that I understand what it's doing energetically, and the third one, as I categorize them, is that I understand what it's doing in the body. Yeah. And when it's mostly on the soul work, there's so much energy getting through me that I can't feel it where it's coming into my body. So maybe if you could feel anything of this.
Well, my whole body, and especially my heart, and I did feel actually in the lower heart, the third chakra, I'd say,
Okay, that's beautiful, because I couldn't feel it because there was so much energy getting through me. And so, but there are many different ways of light language, and this is my way. And
great.
And for some people, it's a bit. It's not like a language, it's more like frequencies, it's like soundings. And there are people who can make beautiful drawings, or there are even people who dance light language, which I didn't see until now, but I really would like to do it. And light language is always like the work you do, Lou. It's like communicating, it's finding the right frequencies and intertune the 2 frequencies, so that there's a level or a balance, so that information could come together or be unsolved, or
yes, dissolved, resolved.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's good. That's very good. Thank you.
And so therefore, it's always interesting that I keep promoting you now. I can't stop that.
Well,
but the work you do is helping people to get into the open with even if it's intimate, in private session with you. But it's getting into the open. It's opening up, and the energy I just let be heard was also bringing things into the open. So I think that's one of the things we have in common. That because I'm like I'm like always got when there's a talking stick in sharings, I'm always taking it like, okay, now I have to talk for the whole group, but nobody in my belief was telling the real thing what's happening. So I'll do everything I know.
Okay.
And that's also the stick I feel I have light language now in this session.
No, Robert, I mean, I want to sing your praises here for a moment. You have a very open heart, my friend, and you're very, very sensitive and gifted, and very true to yourself, and trusting of your guidance. And here's to you for speaking up when many other men are intimidated, about their feelings or being vulnerable and all of that. So as I say, we really have a deep energetic bond, I feel, my friend, that we have. I mean, we've talked about our childhoods with each other anyway. And, excuse me, I was always being shamed and humiliated by my peers for being weird and different, or the new kid. We talked about all that. And, it strengthens you over the years to accept yourself, basically, and to see, how your uniqueness, can be your strength and your gift, rather than a source of pain or fear or shame or whatever others might perceive it to be about. And this is the journey of most men, from my point of view, to come into our hearts and to feel and acknowledge the power of our emotions with each other, with the women in our lives, with all of our relations, to be better fathers and better husbands and better partners and all of that. But it does take a lot of vulnerability and willingness to make a fool of yourself, or not give a damn, either way, however you want to put it.
I think the only fool for me, speaking for me, for myself, is the only fool I can be is my own fool.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. If you start opening up, there's nobody else judging you, or they're just applauding it and stimulating it. And the only fool is the ego mind.
Yes, well said. Yes, well said.
Who's keeping you from it. And that could be a real burden, or it could even make you ill.
Sure. Oh, it does all those things. Yeah. Yes. My job description is God's holy fool, Yeah. And I have to I get to build a bridge over myself, a lot. And thank you for correcting that in that way and saying that more accurately. And you and I know the freedom that comes from, being vulnerable and being emotional and being authentic and trusting that, that's where all the goodies come from, is trusting our truth. And, as we've talked about, the world is going through this big awakening of seeing how important it is, again, to do that, to be able to do that.
Yeah, true. Funny thing is, I just was looking in my own image, and we didn't plan this meeting. So it was like spontaneously.
Yeah.
And the first thing what popped into my mind is that today I got irritated eyes and psoriasis is popping up. There's something cleansing through my skin.
Okay.
And the first thing I was, when you said, let's have a Zoom, I was like, but I don't look like it.
Well, if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have any idea, but I don't.
No, I know, but it's in combination of that fool, because we have a beautiful discussion or conversation, and if my ego could have stopped me, it stopped me because of the looks.
Sure. Yes.
If you put away that ego mind, probably it helps to clear out the psoriasis earlier, quicker.
Sure.
And still we have a good conversation.
Sure. Yeah. As we were talking, that's fair enough. As we were talking about Patricia's activations last night, and I was saying that she's helped us, she and God and all our guides, I was just remembering all of them over the earth in the last one. And I just thought, wow, this is incredible. I've been living for this my whole life. I didn't even know it. So, I mean, that we, my friend, that we love ourselves more, we have more compassion for ourselves, and thus for the people in our lives, our clients and friends and etc., family and all of that. And, that we can be that window of light for people to love and forgive and accept themselves, and not be so hard and so harsh on themselves and each other.
Yeah, and by doing that, be an example for the persons who have to take a few steps more to become in that area.
Yeah, sure. There's a meditation from Oren, or a line from Oren, who I love, who says, you might be a step ahead of somebody, or you might be a step behind somebody else, but we're all basically climbing the same mountain.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's good that we treat each other with love and respect, beginning with ourselves, and like we're saying here, the challenge of feeling so different from other people, for most of our lives, I'd say is probably a fair statement, for both of us, is that, as I say, as we've learned to accept ourselves, and we're still learning to do that, it allows us to be more compassionate and tolerant for other people's struggles.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Are you going to pick some cards?
I have some cards here. Sure. I was going to ask your permission. Is that all right to share in this context?
Of course, of course.
Okay. All right. See, there you go. You're being the star pupil one more time. Thank you very much. Great.
No, of course. Yes, please.
Sure, my friend. Yeah. It's great. Here's influence of the past. Yeah. And so we've been working on healing grief in general terms, and which as I say, that's my experience, that has been my greatest challenge as a man, emotionally, and so forgiveness, influence of the past, forgiveness is creating that space, like we're saying. I mean, that's divine timing in the flow of what we're just talking about here.
This is so accurate. This is really so accurate. I have to be careful on how I'm going to say this, because there's last year I was somebody tried to steal some of my money.
Yeah.
In a certain way, and it was really it was in a nasty way.
Yeah.
And I put it aside completely. And yesterday I got an email from that same person asking me how much guilt or money still open.
Right.
I don't really believe that it's going to get back, but it was an opening from the other side.
Okay.
And it's exactly pointing to that forgiveness.
Well, that's brilliant, man. I mean, that is my experience. As we forgive ourselves, life becomes gentler and more loving to us.
Exactly. So it's
beautiful. Yeah, that's great. Well, on we go with the more good news. This is your centerpiece card. Yes, I'm always happy to be the bearer of good news. So yes, my brother, this is you loving yourself better, loving yourself more, letting that be more important in your life, not taking you or it for granted, you see. Yeah.
Also spot on, if I may add.
Yes, please, of course.
I've worked together with Nicola Roswell a lot, and yesterday she was pointing out that my light language, my ego was still expressing itself in a small way about light language. And she told me that how's it possible? You're doing this for eons and eons, so many thousands of years. I've been practicing light language. But only in this life, it's not that long. But the knowledge is there for thousands of years. Right. And that was like a kickstart for that new self-love.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's, the ego is a very slippery subject for most people. The way I like to look at the ego is that it's the window, through which people perceive me and I perceive them, and we play with identity, and I'm a good guy, I'm a bad guy, I'm comfortable, I'm uncomfortable, whatever, but for me, as a student of the Course in Miracles for a few years, that has been a daily, it's part of why I read that out loud every day. That's a daily reminder that we can heal our ego. We can make friends with our ego, and our ego can serve us as the Christ consciousness, as the healer. It doesn't have to be something that, hinders or limits or is intrinsically negative or evil.
I agree. And the part of my ego, what I was talking about, is that part which sometimes holds you back because it's not really used to change.
Sure.
And sometimes not open to change. And so that was, but so it was, but spot on. Like the second card, you were still at 100%. So
right. But I just want to come back to, this is from your guides. You have really turned a corner, and they really want you to let it in, you know, that you are taking much better care of yourself is the best way to say it. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Here's spiritual growth,
Oh, wow.
the influence of the future. So that is, you know, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
Yeah.
You know, if you weren't seeing the lights of the Christmas tree yet, here they come. You see, yeah.
Yeah.
It,
Can't add anything on that. It's just spot on. Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. And Robert, again, it's like we're saying, you know, we've all moved through a lot of fear this year, you
Yeah.
know, and sadly, that story's not over by a long stretch,
Yeah.
collectively. So again, you and I and everyone who works with Patricia and Spirit in any way, you know, who is feeling like we're describing this refound sense of purpose and trust in our connection to Spirit. It's a huge time of gratitude, you know, and
Yeah.
Spirit is, you know, from Patricia, Spirit is thanking all of us for
Mm.
being the doorway for
Wow. Yeah.
humanity, and
Wow.
the overall is balance.
Beautiful.
Yes, yes,
Gives me
yes,
shivers.
yes. Good, 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 good. Yes. Well, you see, that is like the ego, you know. Give, receive, listen, speak, you know, masculine, feminine, parent, child, you know,
Exactly.
we're
Yeah.
always doing the dance of getting into balance, in and out of
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah. It's beautiful. That balance is the thing I felt this morning. I had a discussion with my mother. And
Yeah.
normally she's really a real believer in everything the mass media is telling.
Okay. Yes. Bless her heart.
And
She's in fear, we would imagine.
yeah, but she doesn't admit that she is in fear.
Oh, okay.
And I've got that aluminum hat on.
Of course. Yeah, I have one of those. Yeah, the tinfoil conspiracy guy. Yeah, sure.
And until now, it was really like clashing. You know, it was like I tried in the beginning. I tried to convince her and told her that a lot of things, well, even that people were on the moon already there, and the Nazis were still alive, and things like that.
Right. Right.
It's over, but still.
Right.
And now today I was getting into the discussion with her, but I was like, I don't want to convince you, but I mean, but be reasonable. If I just question something,
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm on the other side. It's just that I'm
Sure.
questioning something.
Sure. Sure.
And
Yeah.
that was really like getting into for me a new balance. It was like I was really driving back home, and I was like, well, it was weird. It was new, because normally I was really getting pissed off and
Yeah.
get out of the house really angry. And now I was
Yeah.
like, oh, completely in peace, and it was like it was okay.
Yeah, I can relate, my friend. I actually was at my buddy's print shop where I go for my ink and paper and all that, and printers. And he's a lovely guy, and we chat about everything every day, you know. The owner, it's in a mall, and the lady who's the manager of the mall, who's also a very sweet lady, we're all standing there with our masks on, you know.
Yeah.
And she was more open to what I had to say about it, and thus I was telling him more of the truth that I believe at this point about all of it. And I'm like going and you know, I said to her, come find me on Facebook. She said, okay, I will, you know.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
you
Yeah.
know, so yeah, you know, little cracks in the door, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm going, that was interesting, you know. That was new. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Beautiful. So
Yes.
yeah, there's and in my mind, it's me. It relates directly to that planetary reboot again,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Oh,
that there's a fundamental change in the fundamentals of everybody, and
sure.
therefore those discussions can be different, even if
Sure.
people are completely opposites in thinking, which is good.
Yes, yes. Well, remember, that's right. I agree. Patricia said, you know, emphasize this, that you shall know the truth, step one, and the truth shall set you free, step two. And she said, you know, the emphasis from Spirit is, you shall not know the truth, it will automatically set you free. First, you have to know the truth, then you understand how to free yourself or you know, take the next step towards freedom. And
Yeah.
you know, like we're saying, this has to happen before that can happen for all of us. And so, you know, that we've been hanging out over here, what is the truth, what is the truth, what is the truth, our whole lives. And now we're saying, it looks like this, you know, to me. You're offering it to your mom, I'm offering it to my friends.
Yeah.
And there's a greater sense of detachment, I would say, about it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not anxious that people believe me. You know, I'm just happy to tell them what it is that I understand and let them, you know, figure it
Yeah,
out.
make up their own opinion, because
Exactly.
everybody has his own truth,
That's
and
right. That's right.
that's, and as long as we are open to realize that everybody has his own truth, or will build up his own truth, and that's
Yeah.
better, because
Yeah.
it's more fundamental, and of course it's hard when the opposite sides are very far apart,
Sure.
or
Sure.
very aggressive in it,
Yes.
but still, yeah, that's the hard part for me
Oh
still.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
of course I know I can send light, and
Yes.
but sometimes it still triggers some things in myself which
Sure.
are still not really
Sure.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I
Yeah.
didn't know what you're talking about, but I must tell you I do. Yes.
Yeah, and that's also fine, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then the self-love part is coming back again, because then
Yeah.
if you are hard on yourself, like, you shouldn't do that, and I shouldn't
Sure.
react like
Sure.
this,
Sure.
that's exactly the part in which normally I think that the inner child is just asking, okay, is it okay that I fall down
Yeah.
and start up again? And
Oh yeah. 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 No, that's good. That's right, my friend. Yeah. I mean, you know, my guides say the key is to be willing to give to ourselves
mm,
what we're wanting life to give to us. And as we've just experienced this great grace from Patricia and Spirit over the last week here, you know, our cups are pretty full at this moment. And it's like, hey, this is good, you
yeah, that's
know?
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
well, well, as my guides like to say, how good, the only question is, how good can you stand it? You know,
Exactly,
yeah,
and maintain it. Yeah, that's what
yes.
you mean with standard?
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
yes. I mean, how much love and happiness and joy and freedom and abundance will we allow ourselves to let into our lives, you know,
yeah, exactly.
instead
Yeah.
of the drama, the struggle, the arguments, the right and wrong, you know, the good and evil, all that, mishigosh, as they say, all that,
Yeah,
you know.
but I hope for myself speaking, is that this cup is full, because I was thirsty for it,
Sure. Sure.
and it felt like really, really
Oh yeah.
sweet and soft and nice,
Yeah,
and,
buddy.
and it felt like something I don't want to lose again.
Oh God, yes. Well, yeah, you know, I deeply relate. I'm thinking of the quote, there's a quote in the Bible where God says, "Prove me herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, and see if I do not open the windows of heaven and pour forth a blessing too great for you to receive."
Mm.
And that does it for me every time. You know, it's kind of like Shakespeare. It's like saying God's love is infinite, unconditional, absolute, eternal, never ending, and have your cup open and remember who you are, you know.
Mhm. But in the past, it was always, before this planetary reboot, it was always hard work.
Yeah, 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 I agree. And I'm saying here, and this was Patricia's message, and really, you know, I mean, I saw her in person in Los Angeles at a workshop.
Wow.
You know, I saw her do a workshop, her free one-day workshop, which she's done for all this time. You know, she's been channeling for 52 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite a number. Yes,
Yeah.
and she's earned my trust, my faith, my respect. And then, you know, just like yourself, organically for me, oh, here's a new thing, Patricia's first video log. And now we're up to 200, you know,
Wow.
nearly, you know, weekly, boom, 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 boom. And I've seen every single one of them.
Wow.
And, you know, they've been like my spiritual weather report. You
Mm,
know,
yeah.
okay, what's Patricia going to say this Monday night or this Tuesday morning that is going to I'll set my course for the week on, you know, what's God
Wow.
asking for me to include in my life this week. And as we're saying here, my friend, every step in faith that we have all walked towards what feels true to our hearts,
Yeah.
you know, we are blessed with grace. We are always given more than we think we need or deserve or expect, usually.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Is she doing that still on Monday?
Yes.
I
Weekly.
write that down because
Yes.
I think she's a beautiful,
Oh
interesting
yeah,
soul.
absolutely. And you know, the other funny thing, Robert, about your connection with her, which is a joy for me, I say again, and other friends finding her and all of this is, her numbers are not huge. You know, in terms of, if you go to YouTube, there's like 13,000 people following
That's
her.
all.
Yes, it's a handful. This is my point exactly. That's all. So it's not hundreds of thousands or millions of people.
That's weird. It's
It's,
amazing.
well, you see, this is how small this club is still at this
Yeah.
moment, but of
Wow.
course it is going to expand. I mean, the phrase from my guides is, now it's a trickle and soon it will be a flow and eventually it'll become a flood
Of
of
course, yeah, I
it,
believe that. I
you
believe
know.
that as well. And she's
Yeah.
one of the early adopters in
Yes.
marketing terms. But
Yes.
it amazes me a bit because she's so pure
Yeah.
and she definitely recognizably put so much effort in this whole week. And it's amazing that there are so many so less people.
Sure.
And but also every time I'm always have to laugh. If you see YouTube, you can see the likes and the dislikes.
Sure.
And even at day 6, you see some people who disliked it.
Oh,
And
of
I was like,
course. Of course.
after 5 days, you know that this is going to be like this, and you don't like
Sure.
it. So
Sure.
but they
Sure.
are
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. Well, as we say, there's no accounting for taste, you know.
Yeah, but it's amazing if people. Yeah, for me, it's funny because I never put a dislike on YouTube yet because
Okay.
I don't believe in if I want to see it, I don't see it.
Sure. Well, that's because you're a gentleman, my friend, and not everyone is, sadly. So there you go. You see.
It's funny because sometimes I see programs and they're like our recording. If somebody dislikes it, okay, how come why put the effort in it in such negativity? You just switch the button and you go to another channel
Yeah.
or watch
Yeah.
something else.
Well, I mean, you're raising a really deep point. That there is still a lot of anger from a lot of people around religion and God and who's right and who's wrong, and fearing and hating people that they feel are wrong. And it's this is the big dance that we still have over the rest of this decade, to let go of some of that and to heal more of that. You
Yeah,
know.
and the funny thing is because your way of talking and your work is much more, in my opinion, I don't know if it's true, but for me it's true. It's much more Bible related, and I'm completely out of the Bible. But still, we have in our discussions or conversation, there's no difference because it's the same.
Sure. Yeah. No, I've barely cracked the thing in my life. I've just had other teachers quote it to me from time to time, and I think, oh, that's a good quote. I'll put that aside for a rainy day. You know.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. I mean, I didn't step into a church for decades when I left Catholicism at 16, and then Reverend Michael Beckwith in LA and his Agape Church, which was multi-denominational. And he's a beautiful black man and has a mostly black church. And I thought, well, this is very interesting. This is hip. I like his energy. I like his take on things. And frankly, the first time I saw him speak, a purple light exploded over his head etherically. And I went, who is this? I'm being shown something here. I better pay attention. So I studied with him for 3 years in his program, and he was brilliant. And then, so things like that helped me get over my own prejudices or disappointments with previous experiences. But, not everyone has those things yet. But again, it's like we're saying, my friend, we're here to help people, awaken to what's possible and get outside of this, dualistic, fear-based, judgmental thinking
yeah.
that still haunts a lot of people in the world. You could say many people in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, what can I do to help you more to attract more male customers, people you can help, things like that? We talked about it a little bit in the first session, I think.
Sure. Great question.
You got many women who are finding their way to you. So what can we put into these recordings?
Yeah, well,
being open.
Thank you. No, that's a very timely question, because honestly, I was going to bring that subject up myself a minute ago. So you're tapped in there, as usual. I mean, I interviewed this week Miguel, Isaac, and DVL. You're my fourth man this week, and that has been in the back of my mind as I'm saying here, Robert, to answer your question. So maybe we would do that together.
Okay.
We might start a men's online spiritual support group, something like this, to have a think about that. I'd be wide open to that if that interests you.
Yeah, I'm interested, and maybe if people listening to this can comment on it and ask or put their ideas on it. So
yeah, it's really, as I say, brother, it's really a theme that's come up a lot for me this week in particular, and that's what I've been thinking. Who was I chatting with? Just that the men of the world who have in the lockdowns and whatnot lost their work, their identity, their sense of purpose, are quite at sea, I would imagine, right now. Mm-hmm. And as you and I know, that's when some of the greatest healing and changes can happen in any person's life, is when who we thought we were has been taken away from us
when the pain is biggest, then we are open.
Nothing like a little pain to motivate change, I always say, Yeah. But
so
go on.
Yeah, maybe it's also a good idea to ask one of a few of your
sure
clientele, the female clientele, who have husbands.
Sure.
That maybe they can come up with suggestions what we can put into this, because I'm open for the idea. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we already started it somehow.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, we're just picking up the clues here. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe we can get some suggestions, help, ideas from the people around us, because otherwise we're getting into the box maybe too much.
Yeah.
And I do believe there are many men in this period of time who are going through big changes.
Yes, it feels absolutely natural to me, as you say. It feels like this is part of the grace of our connections and our working together and our friendship and all of that. And so yeah, I'm excited about this conversation, and I think if we just put something out there and pick a time, we'll probably get some interested parties.
We should do that anyway. Yeah, we can do that off record.
Sure. Let's do that.
But let's I make a call and I do it in light language. Let's do it like this.
Okay.
So everybody who's listening can feel if it resonates.
Yeah. Very good.
Interesting. So let's wait and see if and what kind of reactions we get on this call.
Yeah. Groovy. I'm up for it. Yeah, I'm up for it. Yeah. I think it is divine timing, like we're saying, and I think we're a nice combination of energies. A nice balance of energies here to hold that space for men to start to deal with some of these challenges and heal themselves.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Well, brilliant. Well, will we leave it there for today, my friends?
It's beautiful. So a great conversation again.
Thank you. You're very welcome, Robert. My great pleasure, my friend. You too. Fantastic. Well, we'll talk soon on or off the record, I'm sure.
Let's talk off the record. If you stop the recording, then we can talk.
Sure. I'll end this. I'm just going to have to answer the call in nature and do a few things. Give me a few minutes if you don't mind.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Speak soon then. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Cheers.